You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Kicking off this show with us tonight, we're going to start off with Jordan J. Garber and Jordan's Corner.
Yes, great to be here live on Thursday Night AMP on AngryMarks.com. How are you guys doing this evening?
Yeah. I had to sit through fucking Maximo Sexy versus Hechicero at Fantastica Mania. That in itself should tell you how I'm doing.
That was a week ago. You haven't recovered from that yet?
It was less than a week ago. It was 5 days ago. It was 5 days ago, and I will be scarred for life.
You're not going to be as scarred as Okada is.
Oh, God, I'm going to need to get as drunk as Okada was.
Yeah, we'll get to Fantastica Mania in a little bit. That was fun.
That was fun. But, yeah, Jordan had wanted to roundtable, and we had talked before the show about roundtabling on the upcoming Royal Rumble. So, get over to Jordan here, and what are your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Did you want a roundtable on that, talk about who's in it, who you think's going to win?
Absolutely. There's a lot of great predictions that I do have in regards to the Royal Rumble. I don't want to harsh too much on that. I want to give you guys your valued opinions. But looking at this Royal Rumble match in a nutshell, I have a few likely predictions that are going to win it. Not a lot of thought into it because I've been so busy. But a few guys that should be winning the Rumble. Let's look at Rusev. You never know. He might get a push. I know you guys are going to be laughing at me. But it might be a year of unpredictability in the WWE as well in that Royal Rumble. Is Bray Wyatt in that Rumble by any chance?
Yes.
Excellent, because I read an article on Forbes and the Sportster stating that a lot of people are predicting a World Championship reign out of Bray Wyatt. Why doesn't it happen at the Royal Rumble? Those are my two predictions. Rusev, I know it's not as probable, but looking at the other point I did make, that definitely that is a very good likelihood of him winning the Rumble.
I'd say he's more probable than Bray Wyatt, who's just kind of like the perennial poster boy of the WWE for getting kicked and booted and just getting all the heat just kicked out of him when he starts to get hot. And his entire Wyatt family faction from SmackDown is going to be in the Rumble. Randy Orton and Luke Harper joining him there, too. Strowman is also going to be in there. I think he's got a good chance, like you said. Yeah, Goldberg, Lesnar. Just please not The Undertaker. Just no.
No Undertaker, yeah. You know, you kind of look back at the past, and Undertaker's won the Rumble before, and you know if he's in the Rumble, it's predictable. And it's still good, but it kind of ruins the show as a whole because you know who's going to be the winner. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. What do you guys think in regards to surprise entrants that are going to be entering the Royal Rumble?
They said that there was a very low probability of surprises this year. I think if we get any, it might be Angle, but that's probably going to be it.
What do you think about a guy like Tyler Bate?
Tyler Bate. From the UK Championship Challenge.
I would prefer Pete Dunne, too, but yeah, Tyler Bate...
Pete Dunne would be a very good person to see in there.
I can see them bringing him in before they bring in Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne seems to make more sense storyline that he didn't win and he's always out to prove something. And if he gets a couple high-profile eliminations in the Rumble, that could make a name for himself. I don't see him winning the Rumble. I don't see Tyler Bate winning the Rumble if either of them makes it in. But it would be a nice, quote-unquote, surprise entrant to see somebody from WWE's UK division tournament, whatever you want to call it, make an appearance at the Royal Rumble.
Well, I don't think it's going to be Pete Dunne because, as far as we know right now, he's on Progress's main event for Sunday.
The one person we know that it's not going to be is Kenny Omega.
Oh, that's reverse psychology, damn it. He's going to be there. He's just saying he's not going to be there because he really is going to be there.
Oh, stupid
fucking
Twitter
people, if you knew
marks.
I know. My God, this woman wanted to argue with me this afternoon. It's a lie. Oh, my God, you idiot.
Yes, Kenny Omega announcing that he would not be coming to the Royal Rumble today, so...
Or signing with WWE, for that matter.
Yay! So hopefully he'll be...
You know what's funny, Abby and Jason? You guys bring up Kenny Omega. You guys can... There's an article about Kenny Omega in the Metro here in Winnipeg the other day. And I think it's once every 3 months or so, you can see him compete in Winnipeg, Manitoba for Premier Championship Wrestling. Just a cheap plug out there. So check that out if you are in the Winnipeg area. Just wanted to plug that out. Kenny Omega is a Winnipeg boy. I'm a Winnipeg boy. So... just thought I would throw that out there.
Well, next time he goes, just when he comes to town, go to the show and take some pictures and throw them up on Facebook.
Yeah, I did an interview with him last year, and I got a picture with him last year, so it should be interesting to see what happens when he comes in town next. What's in store for the PCW fans.
So we do have the Rumble itself. Do you want to talk about any of the title matches that are taking place at the Royal Rumble?
And I actually got to leave Jordan's Corner this week. I will be back next week live on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and I do apologize. It's just this whole moving thing. And, I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, Jordan. Catch you later. Jordan's Corner, everybody.
My question is this with the Royal Rumble. They have moved, the tag title match to the pre-show. They moved the 6-woman match today from SmackDown to the pre-show. What else is going to be on the pre-show?
Sasha Banks and Nia Jax
is on the pre-show. Do they not realize they have a 4-hour pay-per-view to fill?
Maybe the Rumble is going to be really, really long.
Oh, God. Is American Alpha even defending their titles on this pay-per-view?
Not that I can see.
The U.S. title?
No, I don't see the U.S. title being defended.
The Intercontinental title?
No.
The SmackDown Women's title?
No.
Okay.
No, but we can put Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi, and Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya on the pre-show.
They are on the pre-show.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's the third match of the pre-show. But yeah, all those other titles, fuck that.
So basically, we've got
a 6-woman tag match.
A 6-woman tag match, the Raw tag team titles, the Cruiserweight title, Bayley and Charlotte, Nia and Sasha, Owens and Reigns, AJ and Cena, and the Rumble match, and that's it.
That's what's been announced thus far.
This is going to be a very long 6 hours Sunday night.
Oh, painful. Hopefully there will be some surprise entrants that come in and...
Oh, well, if you listen to the people on social media, Kenny Omega's definitely going to be there.
Well, speaking of surprise entrants, and this can kind of segue to what I wanted to talk about next. What do you think about guys from NXT, like a Samoa Joe or a Shinsuke Nakamura coming in?
I would love it. During that conference call today that Triple H had, he kind of intimated that Nakamura is not, TV ready yet. I'm like, have you met this man?
Shit.
He still needs to be polished and developed because he's never worked for the cameras. Like he will have to on the main rosters.
Yeah, like Tokyo Dome shows were just all dark matches with no cameras whatsoever there.
I would love to see Samoa Joe come in. The rumor is he's going to get a huge ass push and probably work with Cena. I would love to see Nakamura come in.
What about Ty Dillinger at number 10?
I think that's been so built up by everybody that if it doesn't happen, people are just going to shit on it so bad. And I don't see it happening. And I really would hate to see the British Strong Style guys come in and do the Rumble for so many reasons.
What if number 10 ended up being Batista?
God, don't do that and make me choke. I don't think we will ever see Batista in WWE ever again. No, I don't mind if the British Strong Style guys show up in the audience at TakeOver on Saturday, but if they're there on Sunday, then that is just WWE shitting all over Progress. And after the conference call today with Triple H, people bitching and complaining just don't understand the quote-unquote reality of the situation.
See, I wouldn't mind if there was one, and he made a statement. If it was somebody, like you said, like a Pete Dunne or like a Wolfgang or a Trent Seven that was in there, wasn't made to look weak, was booked really strong in the Rumble, got some high-profile eliminations on some high-profile superstars, maybe got 5 eliminations themselves and then got eliminated. That I would be fine with as long as they looked strong and weren't meant to look like second-class wrestlers to your main roster guys.
Especially if they put Tyler Bate in there. He's the UK champion. You don't want to go in there and have him eliminated in 3 seconds.
Definitely not, yeah. Talking about making a champion look weak.
Yeah, and Pete Dunne is scheduled to defend his title against Jimmy Havoc on the Progress Tropic Thunder Bastard pay-per-view Sunday in London. So I'm hoping to hell they don't pull him off that show. I mean, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, Bate, if he's made to look not like a fucking idiot, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, some of the real high-profile guys that you could just instantly plug into a Rumble and they would not be out of place and could hold their own. Guys that impressed me during the tournament. But since I haven't seen much of them outside of the tournament, what I did see in the tournament said, yeah, you can plug these guys right into the WWE. They would fit in fine. They can handle themselves.
You really ought to invest in Progress or Rev Pro for a month. I think you would enjoy it.
Or ICW, where they get their balls out.
Yeah, ICW is fun too. But really, Rev Pro, I think you'd enjoy Rev Pro more because the New Japan guys work with them. And plus, cool. I mean, you get to see the guys like Pete Dunne and, you know, a lot of the ones that were in the UK Classic or the UK thing.
Oh, cool. And I understand Stevie J is on the line here, so maybe we can start talking about TakeOver San Antonio now that he's here.
Sure thing. Let's rock and roll with it.
All right. Yeah, I guess we can start off with Roderick Strong and Andrade Almas. Don't call me La Sombra. Abby, your thoughts on this one?
Tranquilo. I would love to see Almas win, but I think Roddy will come out on top with this one.
Stevie?
Yeah, I don't see the former La Sombra coming off as the winner here. No.
Yeah, La Sombra is the new Ty Dillinger. He is the job machine in NXT, and as sad as that is, I would like Roderick Strong to look strong, and this is his chance to do that. So I think it's a clean sweep. It's unanimous. We have Roderick Strong going over in the first match. Next one's a little more interesting. We have EY versus the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Let's go to you, Stevie.
Well, I think there are bigger things in store for Ty Dillinger, probably at the Royal Rumble, probably coming out number 10. So I'm not too worried about his prospects here on TakeOver. I don't think it matters whether he wins or loses, so he probably won't win.
Okay, Abby.
Can I say I don't care?
Yes, you can say you don't care.
Because I really do not care about Eric Young in the least. And at this point, I really don't care about Ty Dillinger either.
For the reason Stevie said, I think Eric Young is going to win because I'm hoping against hope that they do bring in Ty Dillinger at number 10 for the Royal Rumble the next night. And we'll move on to the clusterfuck for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Asuka taking on Nikki Cross and Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Let's go to Abby first.
Asuka. They're not going to have her lose to 3 different women. When they have her lose a match, it's going to mean something. If they're smart. If they're stupid, they'll let the little burlesque dancer win Saturday.
Stevie, what do you think?
Asuka by glorious, violent murder. It doesn't matter that you put 2, 3, 4, or 24 women into a ring with her. She murders them all.
I agree. This is not the time to take the title off of Asuka. Nikki Cross is not ready yet. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are never going to be ready. So until you can get Nikki Cross there or Ember Moon or somebody up to a credible threat level for Asuka, just keep the belt on her and let her murder everybody.
Wait until the next round of women come in. Wait until, Heidi Lovelace and Kimberly debut, and then have that mean something.
I want a 3-way with Asuka, Heidi Lovelace, and Kimberly. That's my dream match right now.
Oh, I didn't think you were talking about a match there, but okay.
Oh, well, it could go either way. Keep in mind, I just came off of a Sherdog Rewind where we talk about people furiously masturbating while smoking meth, so anything is possible for me at this point.
I guess the semi-main event, we have the tag champs DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, taking on the Authors of Pain, with Paul Ellering in their corner, for the NXT Tag Championship. Abby, your thoughts on this one?
And DIY, easily. I mean, the Authors of Pain have nothing going for them except Ellering and that Dusty Classic win. There's no story. There's no backstory. There's no investment. There's nothing.
Stevie?
In my heart, it's always going to be Gargano and Ciampa. I'm personally fond of these guys for many, many reasons, seeing them on many, many shows long before they came to NXT, interviewing Ciampa several times right here on this program, as a matter of fact. But I have this bad feeling that Vince McMahon gets a hard-on when he looks at the Authors of Pain, and that somehow, some way, they're going to be the tag champions before long.
I get that sneaking suspicion, too, and before you came on the air, I kind of said, this is the WrestleMania season, and this is a time where Vince likes to just say, fuck you to the fans. And I have this sinking feeling that this entire weekend we're just going to see title changes that we don't want to see. I see Asuka holding on to her belt, but this one is like I can see the Authors of Pain winning just because fuck you, that's why. Because fuck you, that's why.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And we'll go to our final match. We have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode for the NXT Singles Championship. Stevie, your thoughts on this one?
As much as I'm personally invested in Bobby Roode for all the same reasons I just listed for Gargano and Ciampa, it seems, and this is weird, as over as he is and as great of a wrestler as he is, it seems too soon for him to be an NXT champion. It doesn't feel like he's been in the promotion long enough. It doesn't feel like he's earned the spot, obviously. The contract is signed, kayfabe or literal, but it seems like the time is not right. This should have been like a year-long quest, a year-and-a-half quest, whatever it took. Or he could have just bypassed it and gone straight to the main roster because he's that good of a wrestler. But to me, it just seems like it's too soon.
Abby, what do you think about the title match?
If I take into account everything that was said today, either Triple H is fucking with us, or there are plans to keep Nakamura in NXT for a while because he's not camera ready yet. I'm going with Nakamura losing.
I'm going to go with Nakamura losing too, and I'm going to throw this prediction out here now. You heard it here on Angry Marks first. Not only are you going to see one, not only are you going to see two, but you're going to see three surprise NXT entrants into the Rumble. You're going to see Ty Dillinger at number 10. You're going to see Samoa Joe come in there, and you're also going to see Shinsuke Nakamura.
So I'm the only one picking Nakamura to retain.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Never thought that day would come.
Well, see, we're taking in all the factors.
I'm trying to apply WWE logic to this, which really hurts my brain to do, but...
Well, that's why I reluctantly thought the Authors of Pain might win, because I was applying WWE logic, but I can't bring myself to do it in Nakamura's case.
Well, they can't keep him in NXT forever. I mean, by God, they wait another year or two, he's going to get up there and be like Balor, and first fucking match he's got, he's going to be injured and out for 6 months.
And that's another reason I think they are going to pull the trigger with putting him into the Royal Rumble, because he has been in NXT nearly an entire year now, if not more. It was right around this time last year that he left New Japan.
But he debuted on WrestleMania weekend.
Right after Fantastica Mania, so... He has been signed with them for a year, I guess is how to put it.
Yeah, something like that.
He's been under WWE contract for about a year now, so the time is right. Get him off of a show that tapes 2 months in advance, because that's kind of my big knock and why I don't watch. That's why I don't watch NXT, and that's why I don't watch. Well, TNA has its own fucking problems, but Lucha Underground and NXT, the reasons I don't really watch them all that often is because they are pre-taped. I don't like watching stale things from 2 months ago.
I would say there's maybe a 50-50 chance of Balor coming back at the Rumble, too.
He looks too skinny to be coming back.
Did you see that video he put out yesterday?
I saw the UK Championship, but I didn't see any video he put out the other day.
Yeah, he put out one yesterday at Birmingham doing some kind of testing. Well, he's undergoing testing this week, so...
Well, I thought that was medical evaluation to see if he'd be back by WrestleMania, not to...
that was for the Rumble.
I got one look at his physique on the championship, and I thought, no, he's not camera ready yet.
Yeah, he is. I hope they don't rush him back.
Yeah, well, this is applying that whole WWE logic we just talked about, and by WWE logic, you got to be really ripped when you come back from an injury.
Well, he's always been really ripped, and if you look at his arms yesterday from that video, yeah, he looks pretty damn good.
All right, I'll take your word for it, because he didn't look totally ripped up at the championship. But...
Well, he's always been a skinny little shit.
Yeah, but usually it's easier to tell, even though he's a skinny little shit. Usually he looks like a beast.
Yeah, but did you see him playing musical chairs? I mean, come on now.
No, actually I didn't, but I got a very funny report about that. So I'm amused.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's amazing the lengths that the UK promotions are going to now to get guys on their shows that they can't get on TV.
That was so much fun. I was really surprised that WWE let Pete Dunne and Trent Seven be on that Rev Pro show that aired.
Well, I think they had to be in like pre-show dark matches. That's how they got away with it.
Oh, no. The Rev Pro show, they were on. Pete Dunne faced Yoshihashi and Trent Seven faced Trevor Lee.
Oh, well, then maybe WWE just didn't know about it.
I think they knew. We know that Rev Pro isn't going to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, they've got that big Progress show that Pete Dunne is defending his title in, the main event, but yet they've pulled them over here for the Royal Rumble. So word is that they've pulled him off the Progress show, but Progress hasn't made an announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to God they haven't pulled him off that show.
Well, that's why I referenced the fact that a lot of them are either pulling the guys off the show or putting them in segments that don't air on iPay-per-views so they can get away with it. Everybody's got to have a bait and switch. Like, we'll have him on the show, but he's only on the show for the fans in attendance. Otherwise, you don't get to see him.
Oh, that's like Triple H said today on that conference call. You just don't understand the reality of the situation.
Oh, that was so telling. When that line dropped and everybody tweeted it, I was like, everybody who signed a contract for the UK Championship knew this. We all knew this. The only people who didn't know this are the fans.
Yeah, and then, we want to work with promotions that are going to cultivate talent, not just use them in one-off. Dude, have you even watched the UK promotions? They use this talent monthly.
Mm-hmm.
They go around to different promotions. They are cultivating them.
As long as we're talking about cultivating talent, I find it telling that it came out in the Observer this week that WWE is trying to get Evolve and WWN to break their deal with FlowSlam so that they can have Evolve on the WWE network. I don't think that's going to work out.
It can't, because FlowSlam can sue them for breach of contract.
Right, but I think they're thinking if Evolve and WWN initiate the breach on their end, then WWE is not liable on their end.
It doesn't matter. WWN and Evolve aren't going to do it because they can be sued for breach of contract. They're in there for 5 fucking years. They ain't going anywhere.
I didn't think so either, but it just was a very odd thing to read that WWE had such a hard-on to get Evolve that they were willing to offer considerations to FlowSlam and, quote, being nice to them, unquote.
Yeah, playing nice. Yeah, I saw that. And it's like, what? This is not playing nice. This is, a corporate raid, pretty much.
This is some hardball shit that's going on right now where suddenly any indie promotion that gets a little bit of buzz and has an iPay-per-view is going to be locked up by somebody. It's either going to be Flow or WWE.
Mm-hmm. And that's like somebody put out on Twitter today. I kind of, like my alternatives to not have anything to do with what I'm trying them to be alternatives to.
Yeah. It would be like New Japan becoming part of WWE Network. We'd all cringe.
Yeah, and it's like, no. I watch New Japan to get away from WWE.
So, Stevie,
I don't want them to have the flavor.
So, Stevie, when are we starting Angry Marks Wrestling?
I think we pretty much already have. We just never run a show.
Well, see, there we go. We need to go rent a ring. We need to run a few shows, get a couple live pay-per-views on, and then we'll just sell out. We're done.
Well, it can't be in the state of Nebraska because I actually looked into the licensing once, and I could not afford all of the things that they require for you to run a show in this state. That's why most of the people in this state actually run their shows across the river.
Well, we can do it in Kentucky. It's a lot cheaper. I mean, hell, we can probably borrow a promoter's license.
I was about to say, though, that's another one of those issues, is Kentucky is really weird with the rules about you got to have, qualified person to stop blood, and you can't, the commissioner can overrule it at any time. And
actually, they just revamped the entire wrestling commission. They've got I don't think they've taken the vote on it yet, but pretty much the just about every rule for pro wrestling that like every promoter hates is about to get gutted.
Well, that might actually bring some tax revenue to the state. I think WWE might actually be willing to run a show in Louisville again if they know that all those rules have been abolished.
We'll have to see. I am not holding out any hopes that they're going to return to Kentucky because, 4 years things can change.
That's true. All right, well, shall we address the question that was posed to us by Angry Tensai over on Raw Reaction this week?
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, I wrote up a treatment of this earlier to paraphrase what he said, so this is not word for word the way that he actually worded it on the show, but I think I've got the gist of what Angry Tensai was trying to get at, and it was basically the fact that he doesn't believe Sami Zayn is capable of being a main eventer in WWE because he's been used as a geek for too long, and he will always be a geek and always be looked at as a geek by the fans. And his example was the aforementioned Showtime Eric Young, who we all knew was a great wrestler when he was part of Impact Wrestling, only he didn't get used like a great wrestler. He got used like a comedic wrestler and a jobber and a foil for other people, and not really a star in his own right. So when they actually got around to saying, this guy is a talented wrestler, let's put the world title on him and let's be serious about it, nobody took it seriously because Eric Young had been a comedic figure for so long. And in Tensai's opinion, Sami Zayn is doomed to that same position in WWE. So we're going to go roundtable on it and get everybody's thoughts if Sami Zayn is forever typecast in the spot he's in now. Abby, you can go first.
How long was Eric Young in that position with TNA, though? Wasn't it years and years?
Pretty much since the, what was the name of the Canadian stable that he was in? Pretty much since they broke up.
Well, I mean, you look at it, Zayn hasn't even been on the main roster for a year yet. Okay, he's not been there for a year. And he has had amazing matches with, this past week with Seth Rollins, the run with Kevin Owens, the ladder match last year. The man has had a really good run. And I can kind of draw parallels with Daniel Bryan. He was in that shit with Kane and that stupid psychiatrist shit. And what did Daniel Bryan do? The fans got behind him. He rose to the main event.
Well, that was one of Tensai's points, actually, whether you agree or disagree with this one. He said that Daniel Bryan has more talent in his pinky finger than Sami Zayn has in his whole body. I don't agree. That's just what he said.
Long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was a masked man by the name of El Generico. Mm-hmm. Does Angry Tensai know anything about El Generico?
I don't think he's ever seen an El Generico match. I think he would probably think El Generico is a guy working in a monastery in Mexico right now. He would not know.
Well, I mean, he is. He's down there helping the orphans. But he and Sammy were very, very similar. Same body type, same look, same voice. They were. I swear, I think they were like long lost twins, separated at birth. Oh. I would tell Angry Tensai to go look at El Generico's matches, and then tell me that Daniel Bryan has more talent in the tip of his pinky than Sami Zayn.
I would tell him to watch any Battle of Los Angeles that El Generico was ever in, because everybody who went to those shows year after year always said, watch the El Generico match. It will be the best match of the night. The dude consistently delivered with the caliber of talent that Pro Wrestling Guerrilla had then and still has now. He would always show up everybody else every night of the card.
Yes, and I will say this. DDT, which is a independent out of Japan, just started their streaming service this week. Due to some technical issues and bugs, it is going to be free for everybody through the end of February. You don't have to pay. You don't have to give a credit card, anything. There are 2 matches out there you need to watch. One of them is Kenny Omega versus El Generico. The other one is Kota Ibushi versus El Generico. Ooh. Go out there and sign up for DDT Universe. It's very easy to do. You just give them your name and your birthday and a password and your email address. That's all you got to do. Go in with Chrome, translate the page. Very, very easy to do. Watch those 2 matches, and then you tell me that Sami Zayn is not a main event wrestler.
Abby, if there's such a thing as a pro wrestling boner, you just gave it to me. The idea of watching Generico versus Ibushi or Generico versus Omega, I am full chub for that.
They're so good. And then you have all of the great, campground matches and street wrestling and apartment wrestling. You got to delve into DDT. It's just, it's this whole seedy underground. It's just great.
Yeah, it's the land of blow up dolls and ladders. That's all I can say. But I want to go.
Yoshihiko.
And Yoshihiko. And on that note, I want to go to Jason and get his opinion on Angry Tensai's point.
I think you're only looking at half of the problem, and half of the problem is that WWE is booking Zayn to look incredibly, incredibly weak, which is just part of WWE and how they do things. However, the other half of the equation isn't quite that simple, and you use the example of Daniel Bryan, who kind of caught lightning in a bottle with the yes, yes, yes chant, and that, in addition to his work, got him over. The thing is, Daniel Bryan was able to become this character guy. Other indie darlings like Kevin Owens, like Seth Rollins, like Finn Balor are able to create an interesting character, where Zayn, really the only compelling thing he's had in the WWE has been with Owens, which is really more of reality than it is a written character or developing a character. I think that's the other half of the equation here. And I did go back and do some research on El Generico matches. And one of the matches that I did watch was Kota Ibushi versus El Generico from Chikara, which was a fantastic match. I went back and I watched a Tyler Black versus El Generico match, and I watched the last match that Kevin Steen and El Generico had in ROH. And the one thing that I took from that is that when Zayn or Generico, whatever you want to call him, wrestled on the indies, he wrestled to the level of his opponents. And the match against Kota Ibushi was just poetry in motion. In the WWE, they put training wheels on everybody, and they can't do this. It's like that one exception is kind of Kevin Owens, where they recaptured that magic. But it's just, I don't think Zayn works well in the WWE system unless he catches lightning in a bottle and finds some kind of goofy catchphrase like Daniel Bryan did to get himself over with the fans, which I don't see happening. It's like there were two kind of sidebars that hit my mind with this too. Number one is Sami Zayn is billed at 212 pounds. If he was kayfabed or actually got down to 205, do you think he would be a better fit in the cruiserweight division? Another question that I had, kind of a sidebar to Tenside's original question, is do you think Sami Zayn could surpass the level that Juice Robinson is in New Japan right now?
I thought that was an interesting question for a variety of reasons, but the one that I'll stick with is that I feel like, having both come from WWE NXT, there's a tale of careers going in different directions here, because when CJ Parker left and became Juice Robinson, his work started to improve. I gained more respect for him. He's becoming a better, more well-rounded wrestler who looks like in a year's time will actually be a player in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Whereas Sami Zayn, I already knew as El Generico coming into NXT, so I expected greatness out of him right away. And in NXT, he was great. But since that time, when he's been on the WWE main roster, and yes, it has been less than a year, but in that time, we've seen him have a few great matches, which Abby already outlined, and then a lot of matches that were just there. Like, anytime he has a match with Braun Strowman, and that's probably because Braun Strowman is a big lump of clay they haven't molded into anything, it's just there. And that's not what I want from Sami Zayn or El Generico, whatever you choose to call him. I don't want him to be the guy that is just there. I want him to be the guy that is elevating. And right now, I see CJ Parker elevating as Juice Robinson, but I don't see El Generico elevating as Sami Zayn.
I think it's all going to come down to booking. WWE already has in mind what they want. They don't want AJ Styles. They don't want Kevin Owens. They don't want, Sami Zayn. They want Roman Reigns. They want John Cena. So they want Braun Strowman. That's what they want.
Yeah. So,
can Sami perform at that main event level? Oh, hell yeah. We've seen him do it for years and years and years. Will he be allowed to? Highly unlikely.
And I guess that goes back to Jason's other point. Would he be better off if he was in the Cruiserweight division or featured on 205 Live? And my answer to that is going to be no as well, because the reactions the Cruiserweights were getting on Monday, I swear to God, I think I literally did hear a pin drop in the building. It would not be good for Zayn. It would be career death.
And Zayn doesn't wrestle like a cruiserweight.
No. He shouldn't be forced to fit into that mold, and right now that mold is broken anyway.
Well, according to Triple H today on that infamous conference call, it's a work in progress.
Well, then the work needs more work. Go ahead, sorry.
You had an amazing concept with the Cruiserweight Classic. You had a formula that worked, and then you watered it down. and put shackles on these guys to where they couldn't do what they did in the Cruiserweight Classic. And you put the fucking title on a guy that is so damn boring that nobody wants to see him and nobody knew who the hell he was.
And those shackles are only getting heavier because now the Cruiserweights are being given 5 minutes or less on Raw, and most of those 5 minutes end up being during a commercial break where nothing happens and the crowd knows it.
Yeah, I mean, I think bringing Neville in is going to help, but that's what they should have done to begin with.
Yeah, it's almost too little too late. But they've got the talent. Gallagher and Neville and all those guys have the talent.
Gallagher gets the fans invested. Neville gets the fans invested. To a lot lesser extent, Rich Swann gets them invested. Cedric Alexander gets them invested. But they just fucked it all up.
I've actually seen a little bit of backlash against Rich Swann lately from some of my wrestling friends saying that he's too into the dancing. He's too into being...
he really is.
And then I think... Oh, I'm sorry, Abby, but I think back to when I saw him in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Reseda, and I'm like, he's basically being himself turned up to 10 because he was like that before.
Yeah, but you've seen how much better he is the last couple of weeks dealing with Neville when he puts that shit aside and shows a little intensity and shows a little fire.
He does need an opponent that stylistically brings that out of him, that makes him forget about the dancing and get serious.
Yes, and not so outlandish.
Yes, and that's the other thing that has put shackles on the Cruiserweights and held them down, is that they've all got to have some gimmick. They've got to be outlandish or outrageous or a video game player. Just let them be who they are. Don't come up with something for them. Jack Gallagher is probably just an extension of the way he is, and that's why
Except for that damn umbrella.
Except for that umbrella. But other than that, I'm just saying that's like his natural...
Great.
Yeah, his natural comedic timing. He's got a gift for it, and they're letting him do it.
Yeah, and that's how he's always been. It's just it's perfect and it works, even though they're ripping off Marty Scurll. But still, I kind of like William III. So,
well, I think we've. Go ahead, Abby.
They need to take the training wheels off. All these guys know what the hell they're doing. Let them go out there and do it.
Absolutely. But on that note, I think we've answered Angry Tensai's question as best we possibly can. Is it time to go over the Royal Rumble?
All right. So where does I guess we'll start where we did last time. We'll start with the pre-show, and we have Cesaro and Sheamus taking on Gallows and Anderson, and we'll get the fresh take from Stevie first.
Well, talk about not being used to their full potential. The Club is pretty much the textbook example of that right now. They had one of the most awful 2016s I think they could have possibly had, coming in with all the hype that they had coming from New Japan and being associated with AJ Styles and having all the wrestling talent in the world, and look where they are now. That's almost all I can say about it, is they are on a pre-show match, and yes, it's a tag title match, but nobody thinks they're going to win, and nobody cares about it. That is the worst possible position they could be in 1 year later from where they started out.
Well, I know one person who cares about it and who thinks they're going to win. Abby, would you like to weigh in again on this match?
I'm just hoping that Anderson and Gallows aren't a joke after Sunday night. That's all I can say.
And yeah, this is where I started my little tirade of, we're heading into WrestleMania season, and WrestleMania season is where Vince likes to say, "Fuck you, fans. That's why." Ha! And that's why Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are going to continue to be the jokes that they've been all throughout 2016 and going forward into 2017.
When the Garber Snake was on, did you guys go over any of the betting odds on this pay-per-view?
No, we did not. That's your department.
We could barely get him,
Yeah, I had to repeat
in the call. So.
I had to repeat that Kevin Owens was taking on Roman Reigns like 2 or 3 times before he's like, "Oh, Owens versus Reigns. Yeah, okay."
See, what I find interesting is there are actual odds for all 4 of these men being in the Rumble in the over-the-top elimination match, and there aren't any odds for the actual tag team match. That is hilarious, and that's why I think it's irrelevant. That's also kind of sad. but all 4 of these men actually have odds on winning the Rumble match.
Jeez. Well, what we didn't talk about with Jordan were the other 2 matches on the pre-show. We didn't talk about Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Why don't I go to you first, Abby?
Nia. Vince does not like Sasha, so I don't see her winning.
Yeah, we did kind of talk about the fragile tag that maybe Sami Zayn has gotten stuck with. I think Sasha Banks has got that same fragile tag on her right now.
Well, she is kind of tiny.
Deservedly so, though.
And I also think he looks at Nia Jax as being the female equivalent of the Big Hoss. He looks at her and is like, oh, she's big, she's powerful. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
she were a man, I would jack off to her.
The thing is, she can talk, too, so
yeah,
I'm sure Kevin Dunn doesn't think she's incredibly attractive.
Well,
but then
he'd
again,
be wrong.
You look at Bucky Beaver over there. He ain't exactly pretty.
Oh, Bucky Beaver.
So, yes, I'll go with
I
Nia
just see
Jax.
them going. Yeah, I can see them going her way, too.
Let's make it a clean sweep with Nia Jax over Sasha Banks. We'll get to the last pre-show match with Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi taking on Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. Abby.
Oh, let me flip a coin. Alexa's team.
Stevie?
Yeah, the heel team has the momentum right now with Mickie just having recently debuted in this role, so why would you end that right here, right now? If they're this damn determined to push her as a heel, they might as well stick with it.
And that was my feeling with her just coming back, too. I'm looking for her to pick up the pinfall or submission or what have you to win the match. She's going to be in the limelight, so I think that's a clean sweep for the heel team, too. Hoorah! Shall we talk about the Rumble next, or shall we talk about the title matches next?
Well, how about we segue into talking about the Rumble by me reading off the entrants in the Royal Rumble prize pool this year.
Alrighty.
So, Peter H. was originally going to do this draw live on the air, but unfortunately the hardcore Canadian is not feeling well tonight, so he sent the draw to me by email instead. And to reiterate the rules of how this works for those who are listening for the first time or new to the Royal Rumble pool, the number you are drawn is your wrestler in the Rumble match. Whatever order they come out in, whatever number you got, that's your guy. And if your guy stays in all the way till the end, you win the prize. That's how it works. And if you're a Canadian, Peter will send you the prize. And if you're in the United States, I will. And if you're in another country, we might have to talk, because postage be pretty damn expensive these days.
Bionic Iguana, we're looking in your direction.
Well, with Alan, I think we could work something out. But anyway, here are the draws, and we do have some mystery opponents under a mask, so there are a few slots left that somebody can sneak in here if they send us a tweet between now and Sunday. You have to tweet at HardcoreCDN and or tweet it at me at AngryMarks and say which Royal Rumble and which person who won the Rumble is your favorite out of all the years they've been doing it. But in order, these are the numbers that were drawn. Number 1 goes to the Wrestling Nerdcast. The show as a whole, Zane Paisley and the Incredible Huck, William Huckabee, which means if they win, they can give the prize to their listeners. Number 2, unfortunately, is me. And I don't see myself as the number 2 entrant in the Royal Rumble getting a wrestler that's going to run the table this year. That's not to say it hasn't happened before. I just don't think I have that kind of luck. And if I won anyway, I would defer to whoever came in second to me and give the prize to them. Because what's the point of giving a prize to myself? None. Number 3.
That's fun.
Yeah, maybe, but I'd want a prize like a new computer or a new car or something, and we can't afford that, so no. Number 3 is Nikolai. Number 4 is one of the aforementioned mystery luchadors, Luchador Uno. Number 5 is Lisa C. Number 6 is Raw Reaction, which means Angry Tensai and Big Vic would have to give out the prize if they won. Number 7 is King J, and number 8 is Luchador Dos. Number 9 is Rowan Unrau, the man whose name Brian Alvarez can never pronounce. Number 10 is Peter himself, so he would have to defer. Number 11 is Phoenix Phil. Number 12 is Elaine B. Number 13 is Luchador Trace. Number 14 is Glove Up or Shut Up. And number 15 is the Impact Implosion. So we're getting some cheap plugs for the Angry Marks Podcast Network here. Number 16 is Zachary Langdon. Number 17 is Elish Sullivan. I hope I pronounced your name right, Elish. I'm sorry if I didn't. Number 18 is our show, Thursday Night AMP. So we'd end up giving out the prize right here if number 18 goes all the way in the Rumble. Number 19 is Jake Jackman. Number 20 is a guest of Glove Up or Shut Up just last week, Paul Ace Fontaine from Wrestling Observer and MMA Draws. Number 21 is Shan B. Number 22 is Missy Bird. Bird is the word. Missy Bird coming in 22. Number 23 is our own producer, Kevin. Number 24 is Zach McGibbon. Number 25 is Glenn Schneider. Number 26 is Luchador Cuatro. Number 4. Number 27 is Mark E. Number 28 is Alec Miskey. Number 29 is our good friend Marco. And number 30, it must be a mistake. I will have to correct Peter about this because he put somebody in there twice. So I'm leaving number 30 as Luchador number 5 for now. But that's our 30. So you still got time. 5 slots are open.
Would it be funny if number 30 was Batista?
Based on what he said in an interview this week, I don't think that's happening because he's pretty pissed off about his run in 2014.
Can't say I blame him.
Mm-hmm. So that leaves the Royal Rumble itself. I missed out what you guys thought would be the person that goes all the way, so why don't you go ahead and tell me, and I'll give you my thoughts.
I will go with Braun Strowman.
You really think Braun Strowman is winning the Royal Rumble elimination match?
That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it.
Well,
I'm praying that it's not the Undertaker, or I'll just have to get stupid drunk to watch WrestleMania if the Undertaker ends up winning the Rumble.
I'll say this much: he is in the mix at plus 400. But then so is Randy Orton, and so is The Undertaker. So I really don't know that I can buy Braun Strowman winning over Undertaker or Randy Orton at this point in his career and getting a main event title shot at WrestleMania. He is not ready for that.
When does that matter?
Well,
I'm going to go with Braun or Orton.
When you got to fill up the former Citrus Bowl, whatever they're calling it now, it does matter because you're booking 3 months in advance for WrestleMania. You need something that people are going to care about. I don't think Braun Strowman is it.
The brand sells it. Okay, it's not a wrestling show. The brand sells the show. People are going to come no matter what, just to say they were at WrestleMania.
That hasn't always been true. In recent years, it has been, but there have been WrestleManias in the past that were very poorly attended and did not sell well.
Well, last year was just very poor, period.
And yet did a record audience, which kind of furthers your point, Abby. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the odds, and to me, the one that makes sense based on what they're paying him and where he's currently booked to be at WrestleMania, I'm going with Goldberg.
It's going to be Goldberg and Brock at Mania. They're closing the show.
Right. The only question is whether it's for a title or not.
It won't be for a title. It can't be for a title. I would vomit if it's for a title.
Well,
I've already seen the rumored card, and I'm unhappy with it.
All right, but if either Goldberg or Lesnar win the over-the-top elimination, then they've got to get the title on the other one to make it for the main event for their title.
That's why I don't think either one of them's winning.
And one thing we talked about when Jordan was here, he didn't really have any answers, but Abby and I kind of gave ours. Who do you think might be some surprise entrants into the Rumble? Steve?
Well, I've already mentioned Ty Dillinger. I think if they don't at least have him come out at number 10, they're just going to have to endure the wrath of the fans chanting 10 the whole night long. So send him out. Even if you eliminate him in a minute, you at least get it out of everybody's system. Whereas if you don't do it, you're getting the whole Daniel Bryan thing where everybody else after that is just screwed. So I expect Ty Dillinger. I expect a couple of guys from the UK Championship because 5 of them are going to be in town for the Royal Rumble in San Antonio. They're being flown in. So if Trent Seven, I believe I saw Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, Wolfgang, who were the other 2?
Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate, yeah, well, he's the champion, so he'd have to be. What was the fifth one?
I don't know what the fifth one was. That's why I asked you.
Boy, I can't remember who the fifth one was.
I don't see how they can get Pete Dunne.
Well, supposedly he's going to be there.
Yeah, but he's also in the main event on Progress's Chapter 43 Sunday in London.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, word is, though, they pulled him off that, but Progress hasn't announced anything, which is odd.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and can I say I'm absolutely thrilled and relieved that Kenny Omega finally, for once and for all, shut down this whole thing and said, I will not be in the Royal Rumble. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not going. Yeah,
but people are saying, no, he's lying.
It's a swerve.
It's a swerve. People believe that.
If he was lying, then New Japan would sue the hell out of WWE. So, no, he's not lying.
No, but try to tell these crazy-ass motherfucking tinfoil hat-wearing crazies out there that.
Well, it's the internet, and they love to speculate. They love conspiracy theories, so that's what we have to deal with.
I had one woman tell me today, oh, well, I'm, an optimist, like Optimus Prime, and believe the best is going to happen. It's like, bitch, you can't even spell.
Yeah, so can't take that seriously any more than I can take the idea seriously that Kenny Omega is going to be in the Rumble. It ain't happening, folks. In fact, he said on Observer Radio that he is going back to Japan in February to negotiate a new deal, and he expects to be there for at least another year. His own words.
He's already signed another deal.
Well, he made it sound like he hadn't signed it yet. But we all know he's advertised for the J Cup in March, so no
the
worries.
New Japan Cup, yes.
New Japan Cup, yes.
And see, the whole thing is, this whole time I have based what I think is going to happen on what New Japan is doing, not what Kenny's saying, because he's a troll. And New Japan the whole time has put out their advertisements for the March and February shows, and he's on them. They wouldn't be doing that if there was a chance in hell he was going to be leaving.
Well, whether you think he's trolling or not, I do believe one thing that he said with 100% conviction and sincerity. He said he has things that he wants to accomplish in Japan that he hasn't done yet, and if he went to WWE now, he would always regret having never done them.
What really got me in the interview today was him saying, I talked to a friend of mine who didn't sign with WWE this past year because he thought we could do something together in 2017.
Kota Ibushi.
Ibushi! Yes, I fully expect to see the Golden Lovers do something in 2017.
Tiger Mask W.
Shut up. Somebody else said that to me today. We get Tiger Mask W and something else instead of those two. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh. There you go. Yeah, Kenny Omega can dress up as Tiger Mask W's next opponent.
Yeah, Kenny and his ex will be doing something come 2017.
Now that Juice Robinson and ACH have already done that.
X, because he's already Kenny Omega Man X, so he can be Tiger Man X.
Oh God! Don't put that shit out there. No. No. But yeah, the people that say, oh, he's going to show up, Sunday. No, he's not. You idiots. Or he shattered the dreams of millions of fans. Well, guess what, you morons? Your dreams don't matter. His dreams do, and his dreams are not in the WWE right now. Deal with it. No. He doesn't owe any of us a damn thing. We, as his fans, should be rooting for him to do what is best for him.
And as he's pointed out himself, if AJ Styles can go to WWE at his age and be a success, he can afford to wait that long and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But he did a masterful job this last month of really capitalizing on the hype from his Wrestle Kingdom match. And I say kudos to Kenny for being the master salesperson.
But he did it in such a nice, amicable way to all parties, too, which was amazing. It's like he wasn't trolling anybody. He wasn't being nasty. There was kind of like an undertone of snark, but it was done in like the nicest, politest way possible. It's like he had respect for all parties involved, and it was masterful.
It was lovely. But I mean, it's like even at a Q&A he did last weekend for that show he did in the UK, He buried Jim Cornette in the most polite way possible that I have ever heard in my life.
Oh, he did the exact same thing on Observer Radio today. He was like, well, he's a gentleman from a different generation, and he has a different view on things, and maybe he's just playing this gimmick of being the bitter old guy from the old generation to get people to laugh, and if that's what he has to do to make a living, then God bless him.
But it's like, you're so nice, Kenny. Just come out and say, fuck you, you dumbass son of a bitch.
He'll never do it. Or at least not at this point in his career he won't. Maybe down the road when he goes heel.
He's already a heel.
Not to me, he's not.
Well, not to any of us, but, he is a heel.
I suppose, technically, but that is the problem with a lot of booking these days, is the heels are actually faces and vice versa, because... Example, every time Rusev says anything, he is a babyface to me. When he calls himself the Bulgarian George Clooney, that is a babyface move. I adore it.
Yes, handsome Rusev.
Just look at
Rusev is the best. Go ahead.
Look at Chaos. Look at Chaos in New Japan that started out as a heel faction, and now they're some of the biggest baby faces. So like Los Ingobernables de Japan, who's supposed to be a heel faction, but they're over. It's just in New Japan, heels and faces work a little bit differently.
Well, they do in WWE as well, because we haven't even talked about these other title matches from the Royal Rumble. Or you guys did, and I wasn't here, but I didn't get my 2 cents. For example, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I'm rooting for Owens here, not the supposed babyface Reigns. No way.
I am rooting for Owens too, but I don't think he's walking out with the title. I think Roman Reigns is heading into WrestleMania with the belt because fuck you, that's why.
And fuck you, that's why is also what the odds makers are saying, because Reigns is the favorite.
Surprise, surprise.
He's not my favorite.
I knew that was coming. I set you up for that one.
He ain't my favorite.
Well, I got some more bad news if you guys didn't see the odds. John Cena is also the favorite over AJ Styles.
I don't see Cena winning.
This is the one where I said I think they might hold off on the fuck you until WrestleMania. I think they may have Styles hold the belt until WrestleMania just so he can drop it there, and that would be an even bigger fuck you to the fans.
Here's a hypothetical, and it requires an answer to a question. Which pay-per-view is the SmackDown brand, Fastlane or Elimination Chamber?
Elimination Chamber.
Then I could see the fuck you, that's why being Elimination Chamber. I do too. I could see AJ losing it there.
The way it's playing, or what people are saying right now, is that Orton is going to win the Rumble, Wyatt's going to win at Elimination Chamber, and they'll face off at Mania for the title.
I don't even know how to feel about that. You
License to print money.
You left me speechless on that one, Abby. I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, right now there are no plans for Owens or AJ at WrestleMania. Reigns is supposed to be facing Undertaker. Yeah, Obviously, y'all missed the Wrestling Observer that came out yesterday.
No, I read it. I just probably didn't read the part that we're talking about right now.
Repressed memory.
Yeah, it hurt so bad. That's when I said, fuck this, I ain't watching it. If this is what it is, I'm not watching it. The only thing they have for AJ right now is a match with Shane McMahon.
What I would love to see them do, but they're not going to do, is have Finn Balor come back at WrestleMania and have Styles and Balor face off.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
Fuck you, that's why.
Well, speaking of fuck you, that's why, Bayley is going to probably get her ass kicked in a one-sided beating by Charlotte because she always wins on pay-per-view.
Yep.
That's pretty much what I said, and Jordan was the only one who picked Bayley, and I said, yeah, as nice as it would be to see Bayley snap that streak Charlotte has, I don't see that happening, number one, because fuck you, that's why, and number two, because they just love shitting all over Bayley and taking away any momentum she had coming out of NXT up to Raw.
That's about the sum of it. And the other title match, I'm sure you guys had opinions about, Rich Swann and Neville. I believe the last time I looked, Neville was the favorite.
Evil Elf King will win.
Abby beat me to her punch there. She got me to crack up last time. She said Evil Elf King. And that was right when Jordan went off the air. And yeah, I think we all agreed that Neville is it's time for change.
It is, but it's also kind of a shame that this has become the hot potato title. They needed one champion right at the start, and maybe that guy wasn't TJ Perkins, but they needed one champion to take the ball and run with it, and they've done the exact polar opposite of that.
It's because they screwed it up from the beginning.
Yeah.
There was no
but
thought
I think
put
it's
into
gotten
it.
progressively better since TJ Perkins has let it go. It's like the belt has progressively gone on to better people.
Yeah, or more entertaining people.
More deserving people.
They screwed it up from the beginning, and people just don't care.
Yeah, the reactions on Raw, again, I hate to dwell on it, but
they're bad.
I've been to Raws where crowds have been that quiet, and it's usually because they're showing a video package on the Titantron for 10 minutes. It's not usually that quiet when there's an actual match.
Well, part of it's a clusterfuck because the Cruiserweight division is on Raw, yet they have their own show 205 Live, which tapes after SmackDown, and some of the Cruiserweight stars are still on NXT. And yeah, I mean, I don't blame the Raw crowd for being silent because where in the hell did the Cruiserweights fit in?
Speaking of them being on all kinds of different shows, that's another thing that Triple H said on the conference call that I was like, dude, are you for real right now? Because he said that there was a chance for guys to go from the UK Championship to NXT to 205 Live and be stars on all of those shows. I'm like, how are you establishing anything as a brand or an identity when you're going to have guys float between all three of those things?
That's like him saying, you know, the Cruiserweight division is a work in progress, and 205 Live is a work in progress, and there's no timetable for a UK weekly show. And it's like, did y'all even really think any of this out? Or were you just trying to strike while attention was on Cruiserweights in the summer with New Japan doing their thing, and all the British...
strike World of Sport and hurt them while they were trying to get off the ground?
I mean, is it spite, or are y'all putting thought into this stuff?
Which had a question pop up in my mind with the UK show. Are they going to first run air that, even if it is taped, are they going to first run air that for people in the UK, or are they going to first run air that for people in the US?
It's probably going to be on demand.
It'll be on demand, but also, you know, on their, you know, whatever always on thing, you know, are they going to put that up for, or, you know, when they do put it on demand, is that going to first come up for
probably for the US
audiences or
because
UK?
That's where the most subscribers are.
Yeah, I think Abby's right.
Even though the people in the US have, unless you're a wrestling fan, you have no clue who these guys are. Mm-hmm. And it's doing a disservice. Like, you know, this whole UK expansion thing is just, oh God, it's just a big ass mess. And as much as I feel sorry for the guys that signed with WWE, I really can't feel sorry for them because they're adults and you don't sign anything without reading it.
Or having a lawyer read it.
Yeah. Even if you're 19 years old, you're still a damn adult. You know, for WWE, I can't blame them for doing what they've done. For these other promotions, they're going to get sick of this shit and they're going to quit signing these guys to do any kind of show. And then they're going to be stuck with this, you know, $20,000 contract and they can't appear anywhere. Because no promotion wants to have to deal with all the bullshit from WWE.
True that.
You know, and it's like, there's all kinds of blame to go around, and for Triple H to say, you just don't understand the realities of the situation. Oh, yeah, we do. Believe me, we do. I wrote about it this past weekend that got picked up everywhere. Believe me, I understand, and it's still bullshit.
Speaking of picked up everywhere, I think Top Rope Press was the very first site I saw report about Kenny Omega staying with New Japan today. I think you were the very first to hear the show that was on Observer and report on it.
Yes. I was sitting there with bated breath. Like, I had it written, and it was like, okay, I just need confirmation. Confirmation published.
I knew it was happening because they said on Observer Live they were interviewing Kenny Omega right after they went off the air. I'm like, okay, this news is going to break in about an hour then. I just knew the timetable.
Yeah, and it was like, and I mean, plus you knew if he was announcing on Wrestling Observer Radio, he wasn't signing with WWE. So yeah, it was just having it written up and then putting that quote in there about Ibushi and, you know, saying that he was going to probably sign with New Japan. It wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, it's 100% sure. You know, and getting it written up and then just hitting publish.
Right on. Well, you were ready to go. You had the trigger loaded and cocked, and all you needed to do was fire, and you did. So kudos on that. But what other things this weekend are we leaving out? I feel like we might be missing a New Japan card of some sort.
Yes, we have a New Japan card in the morning. Road to the New Beginning.
That's right. At stupid o'clock, 4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m. Eastern.
So, what's the main event for this Road to the New Beginning?
It is Kazuchika Okada and Roppongi Vice versus Minoru Suzuki, Taka Michinoku, and Tai Chi.
Oh,
oh
Tai
no.
Chi in a main event.
Tai Chi in a main event. I can't wait.
Oh,
that's
going to be so worth getting up at 4:30 for.
Get out your penicillin and hose down the ring. You know, that reminds me, I don't even think we ever talked on last week's show, or was it 2 weeks ago, when those text messages that Katsuyori Shibata sent out came out.
Chappin'.
Oh, man.
Yeah, supposedly his mistress got out there on social media again this week, but I didn't see anything that she'd done.
I didn't even see it the first time until you guys brought it to my attention, and then I read the translations, and I was like, I didn't need to know that about Shibata. I really...
Chappin'.
King of Chappin style.
Oh.
God, now I feel like I need to go gargle with bleach.
Yeah, bleach and penicillin and all sorts of things. Yeah. So this is going to be one of those shows then where there aren't title defenses. There's going to be a lot of 3-man, 4-man, 6-man matches, right?
Yeah, it's basically, introducing Suzuki-gun back into the fold.
Which I'm fine.
Yeah, Killer Elite Squad will be taking on Ten Cozy. I don't have my computer in front of me, so I don't have the whole card. But Nagata will be taking on his protege Oka, who I swear that kid does not look 25 years old. He looks 40. He might even be 23. But God, he is the oldest looking 23-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
So that's all the card you know off the top?
Liger. No, let's see. No. Hanare, David, and River People. Kawada.
River People.
Well, that's what it translates as. Taking on...
I'm bringing up the card now. Let's see how it translates.
Despy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, too.
It's starting to translate for me here. So, Nagata and Oka. Goodbye. His name is Goodbye. Yoshitatsu, a.k.a. Goodbye. Beast God Thunder Riger, R-I-G-E-R, and Tiger Mask.
All right, I've got the card in front of me now. Go ahead.
Taking on Kawato, Hanare, and David Finlay, as you were saying. Evil Spirit Jado, Foreign Road Gato, and Yoshihashi taking on El Desperado, Kanemaru, and Abby's Nightmare, Izuka.
I actually have a very soft spot in my, twisted little black heart for Izuka.
So hopefully he'll break through the chains and run through the crowd and terrorize
and spray paint
women and children. And yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, we have Ten Cozy against Killer Elite Squad. That should be a good one. God, yeah, that's 4:30 for this. Juice Robinson, Shibata, Hanma, and Makabe taking on Ospreay, Ishii, Yano, and Gato. Now Abby gets to see Ishii and Yano in the same match.
I know they're tag team champions now, so I always get to see them in the same match.
And what's going to get stolen this time? What's left to steal?
I don't know. He can go after the junior tag team titles.
I guess.
Well, no, I don't know. Roppongi Vice. Oh, hell no. He'd die. And plus, we don't know what's on that towel.
Chappin'.
Oh.
Yeah, he might want to steer clear of that towel.
Seriously, people, if you're listening to this right now, you have no idea. Google Shibata Mistress and behold the wonder.
Shibata sexting. You can Google that too.
Chappin'. I really, honest to God, during the Rev Pro High Stakes show last weekend, where he faced off with Matt Riddle, I so wanted the damn British crowd, who is so good at chanting shit, to start a Chappin' chant. Would they do it? No.
See, this is where I expect the indies to make up the difference, because some guy like Joey Ryan is going to come out with Chappin' on his trunks and make that work.
Lord. We were talking on Twitter about, Shibata getting his own shirt that has Chappin', in that same font that he has the wrestler in, and just, coming out in that.
Now, heck, with him coming out of that, R. Sleeves could put that on his trunks.
Oh, man.
Gross. Worse than Shibata.
Replace the R Lasso or R whatever the hell he is on his trunks with Chappin.
Sleaze is actually happily married, so...
Yeah, that's the irony of the whole thing, isn't it? The sleaziest one is actually the cleanest.
Yeah, and Shibata's out there drunk karaokeing with someone who said they just washed their vagina. It's just...
And that's why this show has an explicit rating on iTunes.
At least I didn't go into the other part of it.
But like I said, that's been my night in general because I had to hear about former MMA fighters masturbating furiously while on methamphetamine. So it's just full circle for me.
How else would you masturbate if you were on methamphetamines?
No, the part that wasn't even the really disturbing part. The disturbing part was that he was on a TV show called Intervention, and they showed him with a blanket over his head, and apparently he was doing this for 10 hours straight.
Isn't that when you're supposed to call your doctor?
I would think so, yes.
If you have an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, call your doctor.
And frankly, I didn't even know methamphetamines could cause that. I would have thought it would be the opposite effect.
I don't know. I've never taken amphetamines, so...
Yeah, I haven't either, and I don't intend to.
No.
I'm not taking them either.
My form of amphetamines is a 4 a.m. cup of coffee that's the size of a horse. That's the only high I take.
Where were we card before we went completely off the rails?
Alrighty, we've got, a 10-man tag team match.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got Kushida, Taguchi, Nakanishi, Sinahashi, and Michael Elgin taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón. We got Hiromu Takahashi, the good Takahashi, Bushi, Evil, Sonata, and Tetsuya Naito.
Cold Skull Sonata.
And then
I really need to find out what hair product he uses, because that man's hair never moves, and it just gets taller every damn week.
It is a glory to behold.
It still boggles my mind that Tana and Taguchi and Nakanishi are champions. The team.
I'm sure the next time they defend the title, it'll be on whoever they face.
Yeah, it's a hotshot title.
The never defended 6-man titles, never successfully defended anyway.
Pretty much.
The hotshot belt.
When it comes to never defended 6-man titles, we can blame Abby's favorite. What's your nickname for him? The Weed Boy, Matt Sydal. You have a
Creepy Yoga Boy.
Creepy Yoga Boy. I was trying to think of the nickname. Yeah, it's kind of all his fault that those titles are never successfully defended.
And was it Kenny Omega who said today that he thought the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship should just go away and there should just be the main Tag Team Championship?
Yeah, he said that today.
Which I'll agree with, but heck, you could even go the other way and just eliminate the heavyweight championship because all the competition is in the junior division.
I wouldn't argue
having
with
Killer
that.
Having Killer Elite Squad back.
Yeah, they're
hopefully
back
will make it a little bit better.
But yeah, I agree. You don't need 2 tag team titles in New Japan Pro Wrestling, not with the roster as it stands now.
No. I swear to God, though, if they kill Yano, my poor Yano.
If they kill Yano, you're killing them.
No, Lance Archer keeps fucking with me on Twitter. It's like every time he posts something, I put, run! And he has to come back with something, so.
All right. So that's New Japan at 4:30.
And then, as Abby said, the main event is Beretta, Romero, and Okada. Beretta.
You said Beretta.
It says Beretta on here. I'm trying to translate as I read. I'm trying to translate the fan translation. Yeah, Roppongi Vice and Okada. There you go. Taking on Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, Taka Michinoku, and He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yeah. We don't like him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the useless part of Suzuki-gun that just makes us all want more penicillin.
Well, at least Bullet Club isn't on this tour. That means I don't have to put up with R-Sleaze and Tai Chi on the same card.
Or Bone Soldier.
Like Jason said, we get the better Takahashi on this card.
Yes.
Actually,
the one that licks everything.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's still kind of creepy, but it's a more tolerable form of creepy.
We get Chappin' and Licky. That could form a really good tag team.
That could be a really good t-shirt.
Get your Chappin' t-shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Oh, well, at least now they can finally stop teasing that they're going to stop selling Kenny Omega shirts, because they were playing right into that.
That pissed me off this week. I got that email like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I got it too, and I
got it once.
I was like, fuck you, I already bought a Kenny Omega shirt. You don't need to do this to me. I don't need it right now. I got my shirt.
Yeah, that's like one of the Bucks put out earlier today that after Kenny made his announcement. Yes, we are the Elite, and we're going to stay that way. And I tweeted it back. I said, that's good, because I was going to hate to have to burn all my damn shirts in a blind fit of rage.
You guys have never seen it, but there's a skit that my wife and I like to play during football season about a game that the Iowa Hawkeyes were losing really badly and came back to win late. And the Hawkeye fan in the middle of the skit says, I feel like I need to burn something of significance. And he rips off his Iowa Hawkeyes jersey. He's like, burn your Hawkeye gear. Burn everything. And that's kind of how I feel about what you just said. You're going to be like, take it all off and burn everything.
Yeah, burn them in effigy or something. One of the things I did want to talk about was the AJ Styles, John Cena deal on the Today Show this week. Did y'all hear about that?
Oh, yes. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people have been using that to base their predictions for the Royal Rumble on the fact that John Cena basically paved the way for AJ Styles to be on the show because of the fact that he is a repeat guest host and frequent visitor to the Today Show. So for AJ Styles to be on there, Cena had to basically roll out the red carpet in exchange for, by the way, you're dropping the title.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, I don't remember WWE being so insulting to their world champion in the past.
He was a little condescending, to put it mildly.
Not only him, but, allowing the host of the show to pretty much downgrade Styles too. Make fun of him and the guy from Atlanta or his hair. And it's like, I don't remember WWE allowing their champion to be talked down about so much in the past. Am I missing something or?
No, I don't think you're missing something. But again, I have to think that, like a lot of other people are speculating about ever since it took place, this is what they're doing to build up the Royal Rumble. So they said, hey, go out there, get some publicity, talk down to AJ, whatever it takes, just get people talking.
Yeah, I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because that's your top title in your company. And you don't see Owens doing media. You don't see AJ doing media. Hell, after Finn Balor won the title at SummerSlam, even with his arm dangling at his side, he was on Good Morning America.
This is true.
The next day, where's Kevin Owens been? Where's AJ Styles been? Where was Dean Ambrose? And then you have John Cena, a part-timer out there, basically just trashing your main champion. I mean, yeah, I can see that from a storyline point of view, but it doesn't make the company look really good, especially when Cena's supposed to be such a good guy.
Well, that's debatable at this point anyway, because the whole Cena gimmick has for a while now been, you need to earn the day, you need to prove you belong, you need to go out there and work as hard as I do. He's not really coming across in a babyface manner, except for the fact that he is a de facto babyface because that's the way they book him and that's the amount of merchandise he sells. But if you actually listen to what he says, it's not necessarily babyface things that he's saying. He is kind of...
No, it's not. No, it's not. But Cena's the face of that company.
Mm-hmm.
And as the face of the company, you're supposed to be an ambassador for it, and you go out there and trash it, and trash the company's main champion. And not even in a kayfabe way or an angle way. It's very dismissive. Almost like this guy doesn't even matter. Couldn't even say his name, this guy from Atlanta.
Maybe that's...
It's like, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
I'm not saying it rubbed me the right way, but I'm trying to incorporate this into the whole idea of the Royal Rumble, and the only way I can do it is to basically think back to when they had their first feud last summer and how AJ kept rubbing it in that when I beat you and I beat you again and prove to the world that I can keep beating you, you're irrelevant and I'm the star now and you're the afterthought. And this, if you were looking at it in terms of a long-term story, would be Cena getting pissed off about that and saying, no, I'm still the story. I'm talking down to you now because you're the one who's going to be replaced and out of here, not me.
Yeah, that's fine and well and good. What bothered me more about it was the venue it was done in, the platform it was done on.
So if they had done this during SmackDown, you would have been okay.
That's fine. Doing it on a national television show, that's kind of what was odd to me.
All right, that's fair. Jason, any thoughts on it on your part?
I don't care enough to watch WWE television. I'm really not going to go out of my way to watch television that isn't WWE that has John Cena on it, but he's always been one of those media darlings that the WWE likes to trot out there and be a mouthpiece for them. It's disheartening, but it's not surprising.
I guess
it's not surprising, but it was just one of those things where, I mean, it got me thinking about, well, hang on a minute. The last champion, Seth Rollins was out there touting the championship. Finn Balor was out there with the championship. Roman Reigns was doing mainstream media with the championship. Where's AJ been? Where's Kevin Owens been? Where was Dean Ambrose? Why aren't these guys doing what their predecessors did? Instead of having them on these mainstream media shows, you're having someone else downgrade them and be insulting towards them and on mainstream media, not in the confines of, a WWE show, but, on the Today Show, where normally
WWE wonders why there's no new stars coming up because of stuff like this.
It got me thinking about the whole situation. It's like, well, why aren't the champions out there doing what previous champions have done? Is it because AJ has an accent? Is it because Kevin Owens doesn't have the physique of Roman Reigns or John Cena? Is it because Dean Ambrose doesn't dress in a weird fucking suit like John Cena? I mean, the dude can't dress well. I mean, he's just crazy. But, it's like, where did this disconnect happen? To where WWE is going to send somebody out there to downgrade their top champion in mainstream.
I wish I had a good answer for you. I just don't.
It just kind of, it just struck a lot of different chords with me and rubbed me the wrong way. The platform, the way it was done, and then the fact that these guys that are holding these titles aren't even out there anymore. Whereas Balor was, and Charlotte has been, and Becky Lynch has been. Well, where are the other guys?
It's a good question. No good answers.
It's Vince's world, and we just all have to learn to adapt, I guess. What was that line in the DVD biography they did of him? Learn to eat shit and like the taste of it.
Ugh. Yeah, that's about right.
It's just one of those little quirky things that came out this week that kind of stuck out for me. But that was all of it I wanted to point out about that and see if anybody had any insight as to just what the hell they're doing.
As Jason is fond of saying, Vince McMahon probably just said, "Fuck you, that's why," and sent Cena out there to bury him.
WWE Logic 101.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, if we don't have anything else left to cover, then we can go to some closing plugs.
We covered Kenny. We covered the whole UK thing. We talked earlier about Triple H saying that Shinsuke might not be camera ready yet. I can't think of any other big news this week.
Yeah, I feel like we hit all the high points, so...
It'll be interesting to see how this weekend plays out with the Progress show. That's the only thing I'm kind of trepidatious about.
Yeah, well, in the next 48 hours, we're going to know all the answers, so stay tuned on next week's show. We'll talk about what happened.
Okay, cheap plug time. I will start off with DDT Universe. Go to ddtuniverse.com. Use Google Chrome to translate the page. It is very easy to sign up, and you get it free all through the month of February. They will not charge you until March, and they will not ask you for any credit card information up front. I will also plug a couple more streaming services this week. ICW, Rev Pro, and Progress. Great wrestling all around. You can find me on Top Rope Press pretty much every day, and on Twitter at AbbieA.
All right, Jason, what are your cheap plugs?
Oh, first plug has got to be for WrestleCrap.com, who just did their 2016 Gooker Award WrestleMania 32 one. So definitely go over to WrestleCrap.com. The very worst in pro wrestling are good friends, Artie Reynolds and Blade Braxton over at the site. Definitely check out WrestleMania 32, which won the worst of 2016. Bravo! I'll plug myself on Twitter. I'm at Great Sudoku. I'll plug my cooking blog, veggiebending.wordpress.com. And, of course, I'll plug njpwworld.com, the best 999 yen you can spend a month.
I'll start out by playing the SureDog Roundtable on SureDog.com. You're going to want to check out the UFC on Fox 23 panel that I did with Jordan Breen, Jack Encarnacio, and Zane Simon. So it's a fun show. Even if you don't like mixed martial arts, we talk about people furiously masturbating while high on methamphetamine. So how could you possibly miss that? You've got to hear that show. And I'll plug the Angry Marks Podcast Network because we've got a great lineup of programming on here. You've already heard us mention Raw Reaction and Angry Tensai's Question of the Week for us. He's on Monday nights. Tuesdays we have the Wrestling Nerdcast with the Incredible Huck, William Huckabee, and Zane Paisley. Wednesdays, Glove Up or Shut Up with Peter H. and myself. That is the man who compiled our Royal Rumble pool this year, so give a shout out to him on Twitter at HardcoreCDN if you still want one of those remaining 5 slots. Thursday Night AMP, which is what you're listening to right now, Over the Top Radio on Friday nights, Impact Implosion on the weekends. We have such great lineup, and it's all